Welcome back to another episode of Times New Roman Soldiers, when it is time to talk about Poppy War. A couple housekeeping announcements. We apologize. I know you guys are probably like, where the hell is the Onyx Storm video, the finale? We had some audio problems, so we do apologize. The video will not be coming out. The boys will give their 30-second opinion on if they liked it or not. Also, in the top corner above me, we welcome our newest book club member, Andy. He's along the ride for the Poppy War series. Like Greg's pointing this way, we're all on different sides. So me, it's above.
That's why I didn't even point.
Yeah, whatever.
He's right over there.
Probably correct. Greg's screen is the one that gets recorded, so Greg's screen is probably right. But anyway, welcome, Andy. Thank you for coming along for the ride. I hope you enjoy hanging with us. But Will, Greg, look at that. He's going to talk this time, so it's great. So Greg, Will, give your pitches. Did you like Onyx Storm?
Well, I'll let you go first, Will.
It was, emotions have settled since first reading. Rated 4 stars on Goodreads. I think as a book by itself, it was a good book, but compared to Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, definitely a bit of a letdown, in my opinion. Just based off the trajectory we were taking, wasn't a massive fan of it. Still had some great stuff in it, and excited for book 4 to come out next year, hopefully. Greg?
I like that thought better than the actual video.
Yeah, no, I'm actually.
Well, I mean, we got time. We can go into everything, but I was trying to be political about it.
Yeah, it's a nice, good answer. Well, I liked it. Greg, you're up.
No, you guys. I feel so bad. I feel so bad that the audio got ruined because it was literally just me and Will dogpiling against Nick the entire video. You guys would have loved it. But
let's just make that clear.
No, Nick actually conceded ground.
Yeah, quicksand, dude. You did. At the end of the at the end of the video, you agreed with us.
Yes.
I feel like I understand your points, but like I held my ground for 40 minutes of the video.
Understanding is concession. But 30-second view. Mine's like pretty similar to Will. I had 4 out of 5 that. I wasn't like I didn't like absolutely hate the book or anything like that. Actually, I thought it was great. But I talked about. I think they're making Violet just like too OP, and I think they need to calm it down. They need to bring her back to reality because it's starting to run away. And I also felt like the main 4 characters just have plot armor, and we need to get rid of that. Those are my big gripes. Besides that,
started to think that maybe Violet's a Mary Sue, and if you know that term, we used it in the video we recorded, but that's what we're starting to think. And Greg, I agree with you on the plot armor. I do think Riddick's going to die in the next book. I hope I'm wrong, but we'll wait and see.
We need some death.
He's going to die by an alloy hilted dagger. That's the only way he's going to die.
Dude, I did want to mention.
Okay, hold up. Before we move on, we have to say that the boys, meaning Greg, and I think Will might be on board with this, that Riddick is a Venom. I don't agree, but Greg is gung-ho. So I just want to throw that out there because if in book 4, if that is correct and Riddick is a Venom, Greg called that shit, and I just want to make it note now because it was in the video that's not coming out, but now it's in this video, so now we know that Greg did call that.
And also Melgren as well, but that's already in another video. But I did, dude. I was thinking, why don't we do? This is like for future video intros. I was thinking we do the whole like, dude. Why can't I think? You know that one thing where they turn, they look at each other, and they like wave and stuff like that.
Oh, we could do that. We just have to figure out where everybody is.
What was that TV show? I can't remember what that was. It was like a group. It was like a family.
Oh. I know what you're talking
about. Why?
Full House.
No, it's not Full House.
Is it Full House?
No. Dude, it's killing me now that I just did that to us.
It is. The camera turns and they're like,
yeah.
Is that not Boy Meets World? The other one, Saved by the Bell, maybe?
No. Older. It's definitely older.
Older even.
Brady Bunch.
The Brady Bunch. There it is.
Brady Bunch.
Spot on. Will, thank you for saving my mental. I was about to kill
me.
Maybe get out of the club.
Yeah.
Will
10 career minutes of it.
Yeah.
10 career minutes of Brady Bunch.
Maybe one episode.
That was massive.
I said older, and I just went back in the archives.
You just keep going further
back. The only
back.
older sitcom I know that's still left. I would have pulled out Cheers, but then that's all as far as I can go.
I think it's old. It's older than Cheers.
That probably would have been my second guess.
Yeah. All right, you guys good with the Onyx Storm?
Yeah. I'm sad.
Yeah, we'll get right into.
Let us know in the
Poppy
comments
War.
below. Like, listen, like if you really want to know our like the boys' real thoughts and opinions about Onyx Storm, let us know below. We can remake the video. It probably won't be as fiery as it was, but if that's something you guys are interested, let us know. But let's get into Poppy War. I'm going to start the same way I started a different video. I ended in one video. I mentioned to Greg and Will that I think Onyx Storm will be the book of the year. However, I do still agree it's going to be the book of 2025, like in sales wise. But then I went further and said I think it's going to be the best book I read all year. However, after reading part 1 of Poppy War, I think I'm going to have to retract that statement. It is getting so good. I see very little flaws. I will give Greg his flowers. This is a great book club pick. It's not heartbreaking yet. I know the boys are definitely ready for the heartbreaks. I think we're all ready for the fucking war to finally start. But yeah,
well,
even that being said,
Tear was like a massive stab in the heart out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, Tear was crazy.
Just walked him in, walked him right out.
Got me on his side. He was my boy, and then all of a sudden he is gone.
I was there like new POV ready to roll.
Hold on. Nick looks confused here.
Oh. Dude, so that scene, we're just gonna jump right into it. That scene, I thought it was a flashback. Because I was like, you like go right into that like part 2, and you're like, all right, don't know this character. And I'm like, okay, the Empress is coming. And I was like, wait a minute, because like where we left off, like the war has not started yet. Next thing we know, we're on a fucking ship, and the Federation's like across the sea coming for us. And I'm like, all right, so this is like the third or the second Poppy War. I'm like, this is what this is.
Mm-mm.
But wild. And then I best part of that whole scene is that we finally figure out that the Empress is actually the fucking snake lady. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah,
it was like
by the snake god.
Officially confirmed, which was a nice confirmation early on.
They did mention it beforehand, but it was like all kind of speculative, and then it was like a confirmation that she does commune with the gods. Like she has some like supernatural shit going on.
Yeah,
dude. I have a wild,
which is great. No, go ahead, Greg.
Oh, I was about to say I have a wild take. I think part 1. I think she's gonna kill Ren off. I think Ren's done at the end. Because like the way she brought Tyr in,
no,
I think we get a whole new character. Because the way they brought Tyr in and killed him off immediately, I think Tyr's only purpose was to show that like Ren got us through the school and got us into the world of like these shamans. Tyr was like to show us that there's more shamans in the world than we think. And now we're like in the shamanistic worldview. So now it's like, we're going to see wild thoughts. We're going to see Rin become this bad Phoenix, whatever person, get consumed, go mad. And we're going to see what they mean by mad. Because I'm thinking the next book, I think we got a new character.
No, I don't.
Okay, well, she's on the cover of book 2.
Yeah.
Not confirmed. Not confirmed.
She's gonna die by the end of the series.
Right,
yeah, she's gonna die by the end of the series. There's no doubt in my mind. I don't think she's dying yet. But let's backtrack. Greg, great thought, but let's backtrack just so we get everybody on board. Sorry if the boys seem really excited for just to start talking about part 2. We had another audio mistake that we did a part 1 video already, but we're gonna recap. So we start this book. Rin is basically a war orphan. She's pretty much like the gum on the bottom of your shoe. She's worthless. No one loves her. Her own family, her adopted family, hates her. There's only 2 people in the world that you meet right away that love her. It's her adopted brother and her tutor, her soon-to-be tutor. The only 2 people in the world that love her. It's kind of interesting. In the last video, like I was saying to the boys, it kind of makes me feel like it's very Milan vibes. But now that I say it out loud, it kind of reminds me of like Beauty and the Beast too, where like Belle's dad only loves Belle, and then the Beast only loves Belle, and then it's like the whole town thinks she's weird because she reads and stuff like that. But that's just a sidebar. I think it's cool that it has a lot of different like Disney things.
Dude,
boys are looking at me like I'm crazy.
I was getting Cinderella vibes. Like Cinderella with the step parents or stepmother or whatever, and the step siblings, even though she don't have the step, I was getting that kind of vibe. But I feel it. I get the vibes.
I think I see that more than Beauty and the Beast, but I also just know that more than Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. But it's really good so far. Part one, there's no boring parts. I think we can all agree. I tried to make the argument that there was one part that's a little boring, and it moves along so quickly that you're just like, this is fine. This is great.
I was saying this to Andy before you guys got on. I was slightly bored with the like summer vacation trip. That was like 4 days with Kate.
Oh, you're lying.
And it was good. Like the trifecta, like background was really nice. But for it coming from like a puppet show, like it was a little long for me.
Dude,
I would have rather that been
I
condensed. I would have rather that been like
too.
more condensed, and then her and Kate talk about it more like after.
Oh, see,
No,
I
I
loved
thought
how Kate was just like, it's a silly show, and she's like, but what if it's not? Because now we know
Well, I
it's
like
not.
that. That's like where it flipped for me. I was like, all right, I'm back in.
Sorry,
I thought
Andy, go ahead.
I thought it added a lot of world building
Yes.
that was like pretty important to I think where the story is going, especially with the Empress now being the Viperess.
Dude,
You know what I mean? I thought it added like
And
a
I
little
feel like
background
she
to that.
finally like understood, like, I feel like that was the transition of like, she was like, okay, now I'm starting to get what lore actually is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's when she was like starting
fair.
to buy into it more. Like, and I because
Dude.
I loved how like she was just arguing back and forth with Kate, and he was just like, can we just drop it? And she was like, but what if? Like, and I also loved, I have to be honest, I love this scene when he's like, they're in the market and she's just like talking about the money and she's like, I don't have it. And like, I thought Kate was great character growth too. And he's like, if you fucking mention money one more time, like I'm going to lose my
It was
shit.
a good
And I was
chapter
like,
for Kate.
and I loved that. I was like, that's great because then it's clearly just a friendship. It's not like it's nothing else. I don't think there's going to be any romance involved with them. And I honestly kind of hope there's not. I like just the friendship vibe.
Yeah, I don't think I would like that kind of storyline.
I don't see. I think the romance will 100% come from her and Alton.
It's got to be Alton, right?
Yeah.
Like
Or
that's what it
Nishish,
seems
whatever
like.
his name is.
Say that
I
again.
can see it being him. Nishish? How do we say it?
Oh,
Nisha.
that
Yeah. The sheesh is crazy.
The sheesh is
Oh, sheesh, brother. But dude, I want to just go. I want to take a step back. I want to go back to like the whole marionettes thing that they were doing. Dude, I just wanted to be like that. I thought it was such a sick way to do world building to like make you like. Dude, it made me so much more interested. Just because I don't want to shit on Fourth Wing, but the way Fourth Wing did it. Where like she's like walking on the parapets and like she's like, I'm trying to keep myself from like being scared, so I'm just gonna like start rehearsing history. I thought that was boring, like because it just felt so out of place. But here it's like just like, oh, we're going to a show and then we're gonna learn about the lore. I thought that was like a really clever way to make world building history not boring or not feel out of place.
Too. Like if you ever like in Philly, they do the Chinese Lantern Fest every year, and it's actually fucking awesome. If you're in the area, go. It's amazing. It's in Franklin Square.
Might run into Nick.
What'd you say?
I said you might run into Nick.
You might run into Nick. That's true. But they do like this like puppet show about like all the different Chinese histories. So like reading the book, I know like we're not really sure if it's China. Like we think it is, but we're not really sure. But I don't know. I thought it was really cool. And that's why after I read that chapter, like I immediately thought that whatever his fucking name is, I'm going to butcher it again. PSA, we're all going to butcher the names. We said that before, but we're going to say it again. Jahang, her master. Andy's loving my pronunciations, dude.
They're all over the place.
Jiang, I feel like.
Jiang.
Jiang. You threw an H in there.
So Yang, after I read that chapter, I immediately texted you guys and was like, I think he's the tourist. It was like immediately.
Yeah. Do you still believe that?
I still do. I do. I really think it's him.
I think so. I think the Great Tortoise is like one of the main gods, so that might be like the one he's
the gatekeeper,
summons,
like communes with.
He's the gatekeeper.
But he's not a god, though.
Well, yeah.
Well, the gatekeeper is not a god. The Great Tortoise is a god.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
I thought he was gatekeeper, but then someone said it that like confirmed like. I think it might have been like the Phoenix talking to Rin or something.
Yeah.
And was like the gatekeeper like decides your fate or like some shit. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that means
I don't
Jiang.
think she's the gatekeeper. Isn't the tortoise the third person that like goes and like they're like, oh, then I might be getting confused. I think he's the third person. Yeah, because it
The
was the
gatekeeper.
Is it the gatekeeper then?
Are you talking
It's
about the
the warrior?
trifectas?
No, he's not
The
part of the trifecta.
I think
I
he's
don't
the
think he's
third
part of the
person in the
trifecta.
trifecta.
Yes,
I think
I
he's the
agree
humble one.
that he's the
The humble one?
gatekeeper.
Okay, so then yes, then we're on
Yeah.
the same page.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
just confusing
okay.
it. I think he's
Because
the
Great
gatekeeper.
Tortoise
then.
is
Yes,
A god.
I think
Great
the Great
Tortoise
Tortoise
is
the one
like
who
the main
gave him all
god.
the power in the
Yeah.
trifecta thing.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yes.
all right.
I could get. I
We're
could
on
get
the
on
same
board
That's
page.
with
what I
that.
meant
Yeah.
when I texted you guys. So I
Yeah.
apologize.
Well, I wasn't there yet, and then I got to it, and I was like, or I got to it when he like healed Rin when after the tournament, which we definitely got to talk about
We
because that
have
was
to talk
fucking
about
badass
that.
as fuck.
Mhm.
But he like said Great Tortoise and then like touched her forehead and then like ice shot over her body and she was
Yeah.
good. So I was like, oh, okay, I see what Nick's thinking. And then once they like, I don't think it was Rin's like meeting up there, like the first time she meditated and got up there, it was like someone else's. And they like talked about it was like the Great Tortoise, the tiger, the phoenix, and I'm blanking on who the other like fourth like OG god is.
I think
Yeah,
it's
that might have been it.
the monkey.
But
I
it
think
was
it's
like
the monkey.
that, and then I think the Phoenix said to Rin, like, the
Phoenix
gatekeeper
wants
is
the
like
ring,
what's the gatekeeper is like what's preventing you from summoning me
Yeah.
or some shit.
The only character preventing her is Yang. That's his name, right? Yang.
Yes. Jiang.
Jiang, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chang.
It's just like making me think that these gods are more like they more like playing or trying to like get into like the minds of people. Like that's why like when you guys are saying like the trifecta, to me, I almost think the trifecta is more of like a folk tale or folklore kind of thing, and it's like more of like people like summoning that god, and then that's like when people are like,
I was thinking that I was like on the same thought, but then when it confirmed that the Empress was actually the Viperess, then I was like, oh, this trifecta deal.
And the
it's-
Dragon Emperor
Well-
is the warrior.
well, the only reason I'm saying that
It was, yes.
Yeah.
the only reason I'm saying it is because if the way that the Empress like reacts or acts with Tyr, where she's like really doesn't want to kill him, but then the snake god almost in her kills, like speaks through her and kills him. It makes me think that like these gods are just like using them as vessels to like be able to talk. So that's why I'm like, there's a piece of me, and also the Phoenix is like calling Ren and stuff like that. It makes me think that like it's more of like a choice of if you allow the god in you or not, and to like kind of go through you. That's why I'm like, that's why I was like, I almost feel like the trifecta is more of like, those were like the three people that like were open about, were like open about showing that they were like using the gods. That's just what it felt like for me when I was reading it. I could be completely wrong, but like, that's how I also, when I was reading the Tyr chapter, that's what it felt like. Cause I was like, why is she even caring about this thing other than like the gods almost wanting to get at each other? Because like when he was dying, like he couldn't even talk to the shadow god anymore, and it seems like the gods just sometimes want to just fuck with each other. Because his death made no sense, but it was sick, but it made no sense.
Shadow God, because the Viperess is stronger.
Well, I get that, but like,
yeah, because the
I'm just
snake
saying
is
why
the
they
one
kill
that
each other.
gives her the powers. Like in the puppet show, it's the snake that gives her like the power to be, because she's like, I can't have like a sword or like a weapon. Like I'm a woman. Like men won't respect me. Like with a blade. Like I need to be something more.
Mhm.
And then like the snake just turns her into like the fucking coldest assassin like ever in the world.
Seductress like style.
Just
Yeah,
kill you
like
by
would
looking
take
at
out the
you.
entire Dark Brotherhood with
Dude,
a snap.
who does that remind me of? I mean, who does that remind us of? Come on, Will. Nick, you should know too. Oh, we're
You're
thinking
gonna
Sora right here.
Sora, dude.
That's a big Sora
The
character.
Poison Squad, dude. That's
Poison
book of
Squad.
the year.
That's
Book of the year comes out in July.
Dude, I'm honestly I was just sidetracked for the Poppy War side. I am like thinking about when we finish Poppy War. I'm like debating, is Poppy War better than Four Ruined Realms or not? It's gonna be a tough one.
Greg, that's the one that I'm on the fence with too, dude. That book was so good.
Right. I think that's wild to me.
That's like a 6-star read, so we're encroaching a 6-star read.
Of the ones we've read, that's all I'm basing it on.
Yeah, both of them.
Right. Oh, there we go. The book,
dude. The bookshop. You got to give us a little tour of the shelf later. That looks so.
They're both up there.
I got mine being crafted by the mechanic at work right now. Shout out Ariel, nice. Dude, the dog.
IKEA right here, baby.
Mm-hmm.
IKEA.
Cheaper to have it made by your boy.
Nah, dude, that was all like
Ariel's hooking it up.
Two of them. Oh, that is pretty
nice. His dad's the mechanic. Shout out the boys.
Anyway, no.
All right, so back on track. Where were we?
The book's really good. What I will say is, I guess let's wrap it back. So we'll go to part 1. She's at the school. It's cool. It's great. Biggest takeaway from part 1, in my opinion, the biggest 3. She ends up being the most badass. Well, that's a lie. She ends up winning the tournament. That's a big one. The Kung Fu tournament, which it's not Kung Fu, but I'm just calling it Kung Fu. The martial arts tournament.
There you go. Martial arts.
And then she, which Greg loves this line, she took out all of her reproduction organs. Which is wild.
She had a period and then immediately spayed herself.
Yep. And then what's
the correct term? Totally the correct term.
Oh, is that spading not the correct term?
Yes. No, spading is
for
right.
Dogs.
Spading's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Rin does have that dog in her, so it does work out.
True. I mean, it applies.
And then the third one is she gets 2, whatever they're called, pledges, I guess. Bids. She gets 2 bids. 1 strategy, and then 1 is lore, and she decides to go lore. Those are the 3 biggest things. And I guess the 4th one is she's the laughing stock of the school until she wins the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
No, but it doesn't, because she wins the tournament, but then it goes right back because she pledged lore, and then people are like, this girl's weird as shit. They just don't see her as much anymore, so they don't talk about her anymore. They do say that.
At some point, it does say that everybody just kind of started to leave her alone. And
it became
stop
like
messing with her because they were so involved with their studies that.
And then she was also like, we're just getting older.
Yeah, like everybody is kind of maturing. So I think by the end of what we read, she was like kind of like an equal at the school at this point.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
I mean, everyone knew that she could kick their ass, but Jiang fucking wouldn't let her go into the tournaments. But just circling back on that, I think
the other thing is that there's like, what is she on? Her 4th year now, I think.
Yeah, you were right about that. Not in the video about the
really fast.
Dude, they did a year in a sentence. They were like that. Like really made me mad. It was really like
that was so funny.
Rin learned how to finally meditate for an hour at the end of her 2nd year. At the end of her 3rd, she could do it for 5. I was like, dude, what are we doing, RFK? That was crazy.
RFK. No, dude, right? I told you school was gonna go like this, dude.
It's on the fucking cover, RFK.
It is on the cover.
That is funny.
That is dope.
No junior, just RFK.
I did think.
I was just gonna say though. Yeah, you 100% you were calling it because we're fucking flying through years. I just hope they fucking finish school, but it doesn't seem like they will now at this point with war at the doorstep here.
And then we'll move on to that because that's a great part.
I was just gonna say pre-tournament, it's mentioned that Neja is the. Did I say that right?
Neja
is the tournament favorite, not expected. But then it goes into say like Rin is at least the pre-tournament before she is like up against him in the final, nowhere near the underdog.
No.
Like she's probably like the 5th to 8th favorite
Yeah.
out of like the 30. No, it's 35 at the end of the bid. So like there's still 50 students. So she's definitely in the top 10 because everyone's like, we're fucking scared of her because she was training with Jiang and fucking
They don't know what she
no
was
one
doing.
knows
Yeah.
who the fuck that is. Because
they
like
were
in the first,
bets.
yeah,
They did place bets,
and it was the big bets, and then like they were trying to sell like test answers to fucking trick them into
Dude,
buying
that
them.
shit was
Devious
so
work, dude.
Devious.
I
That they
loved
brought up
that
one
part,
guy
dude.
just to say he bought test answers to be
And
expelled.
then he was kicked out of school, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was
Punished.
gone
Jimbo-
quicker than
Jimbo was-
Tier.
Jimbo
It was
already was-
fucking crazy.
Oh yeah.
Jimbo was just waiting for him, and I was like, "Damn,
Yeah, dude. Oh,
that's
it was
cold."
brutal.
Get him out of here.
But we can go right into the tournament with her fighting Han first. The whole like she steps in and Han's terrified.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like he's deer in
Well,
headlights looking
she-
at her like no idea. She sees
Yeah, but I
it,
thought-
teases him, and then fucking
Yeah.
just murks him.
The way it was
Yeah, but
set
I
up, I
love-
thought was really interesting because, like,
Yeah.
because she was training with Jiang, she had mental warfare on lock. Like the
Yep.
other kids
Yeah.
had no idea what was going on. She played their heads instead of just straight physical martial art like technique, which I thought
Exactly.
was really, really cool.
Yeah.
I love that because I agree with you 100%. And then I also loved where like the whole thing, I love how RFK wrote it when she was just like about like the kid Han, like he was like freaking out, but then like he was like fine, but then she like got into position and then she was like, wait a minute, like he's scared. Because like now it's like, well,
Yeah.
now he knows like, well, fuck, this girl knows what she's doing. And the other thing I loved is how she mentions, and I love how Rin like tells herself, she's like, he's scared because like I have nothing to lose. He has everything to lose. Like everybody is expecting him to beat me. Like no one's expecting me to like pull this out. And I thought that was great. And then I feel like she has that mentality through all the fights, obviously until she gets to, I call her Vecna, but I don't think that's right because I think of Stranger
Venka?
Things. But yeah.
I think it's
Venka.
I've been going with Venka.
Yeah, I have
Venka.
as well.
Dude, with the fight scenes, dude, I'm a big fan of showing off like why she got the bid from Urja, whatever, yeah, whatever the tactician guy is,
The strategy professor.
The strategy. I just like how they show why, like especially during the fights, and her communicating in herself, talking about the Sun Tzu like book quotes constantly, being like and understanding her own opponent based on current information and knowledge just really shows. I mean, because that's something that carries on past the trials. She continues to like always have this knowledge and continue to think in this like a really high strategic manner in like pretty much everything she does, which I'm a big fan of. I like how she's like able to keep things going, and like especially when she made the bids so important. And how usually only people get one bid, her getting a multiple bid and then continuing to show off that skill in the future. I just kind of like little small details like that in the book. It's solid.
I think that's gonna stay in it for sure because
It's in the last chapter.
like obviously, yeah, like she gets the 2 bids, but if like Jiang never came along, Rin was gonna be Urja's like star pupil. Like they said it in that like one-on-one meeting they had after class when Rin was talking about how she would flood whatever the area was.
Dude, question here I want to throw at you. If like let's say the lore thing, let's say whatchamacallit, she's still the lore thing never happened and she never like became talking to Jiang, do you think she dies at trials?
Yes. Yeah.
Or do you think
Wait,
she just
so
like? Do you think she goes
you're-
mad? Do you think like, and then just no one knows what's up? Like, I guess that's my
So
thing.
like nothing
Oh,
whatsoever
that?
with Jiang. Like she
I think
like
she was on a warpath.
she only goes in fighting like with the knowledge that she was trying to read from that book.
Yeah.
Like that's what you're
No,
saying?
hold on,
No, I'm
Will,
saying
hold
like,
on. Yeah, I thought the same thing you did, Will. He's not talking about that. He's talking about after the tournament when she wins and she like lights up on fire.
Mhm.
He's saying if Jiang never came to like help her, if we think she would have died, I think she would have went on a war whatever it is, a war page, whatever it's called, and I think she would have killed everybody until someone stopped her.
Yeah.
Because I think like
Yeah,
she just
I
the
could
warpath
see
and she would
that
have just killed everybody.
happening.
Could you?
Yeah, because that's
what
even
apparently
talked
the
about
theories
too. Is when all like his previous 4 apprentices, which we learned about, which I
They all
thought was a
went mad.
great like throw in.
Mhm.
I think it was like 2 went absolutely mad that had to be like carted off to Chulu
The asylum.
Korika. Yeah,
Yeah.
which I thought also great that we ended up learning what that question even was about. Like,
Yep.
I love how she keeps like she never lets like a plot point go like too far unanswered. I feel like it's a nice circle back. Yeah, like it's definitely good. I agree that she would have been fucking dead or like arrested or fucking brought to that asylum.
All this comes back to villain arc for Rin.
I think she's pretty.
Well, she wants the
She's pretty
Phoenix
well at this point.
bad.
Yeah.
She
that
wants the
Phoenix
She
Phoenix
wants it so
bad,
bad.
and
It's
the
calling
Phoenix
to her.
wants revenge for the Spearleys, dude.
Yeah.
She sees that Rin could be the one to get revenge,
There's
and
no
that's
doubt
what.
in my mind by the end of like the whatever it is, Singard, the Singard battle that we're like gearing up for. There's no way she makes it out of this battle without fucking calling the Phoenix.
But dude,
There's no way.
I think
If she sees battle, if she obeys command
You're
and like just sticks
Correct.
with evacuation, but
Correct.
I agree.
there's it's building up to be a plot point where she does like call the Phoenix. I don't think that it's gonna like take over fully at first, but I think it'll take time to like really like manifest itself in her, because I don't think that she's just gonna call the
Just like
Phoenix and go
signals.
fucking crazy.
I-
I think
Well, my
I think
other
it'll
theory-
build up.
Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah,
And
I
I'll
would-
give you my other theory.
I was going to say, like, the spinoff. I also think we learned more about why Jiang dumps Alton. Like, I know he talks about it, saying something like he was too
He
furious.
doesn't.
He didn't dump him.
Yes, he did.
No, he
No,
didn't.
he didn't. That was the rumor.
The Empress found out who he was and then like took him out
Oh
of
yes,
war
yes,
and
Oh,
yes.
yeah,
made
yeah,
I
him
forgot.
go
I forgot. My
Yeah,
bad.
because she
wanted
and
to
like
see battle first.
every other like leader was at the tournament seeing him just murder everybody.
But there's-
like it wasn't even close.
I have speculation where I don't know if I necessarily agree or think Jiang is telling the full truth on that, because the only reason I'm bringing this up is because the Phoenix is the god of the Spearleys, right? And here we have Alton, the last survivor, ultimate fighter. You got to know the Phoenix is calling him hard, like harder than anyone. So there's a piece of me that thinks Jiang, being supposedly the tortoise, did get rid of him. And then he's now covering up, just being like, no, I don't decide fates for people, to just see like what Rin would do, or to see how she reacts. Because I think he wants Rin to be as forthfront as possible, because I think if he was to say, no, I did dump him because he was getting called by the Phoenix, she would be like, I'm not going to tell him anything, even though she's not going to tell him anything anyway. But I just think there's a piece in that could be a massive overthink, but I think there's something with that.
I disagree with that, just because after meeting the Empress / Vipress,
It makes
like
sense.
it like makes total sense for her to want to take Alton and turn him into a killing machine, because Jiang says it when talking about him, like, I was gonna bring in Alton, like train him to fucking like be at peace with this and like be able to like just handle it with grace and like not use it as a weapon, because we see that Jiang's so against like using it as a weapon. And then he was like, the Empress saw him and was like, I'm gonna take him, and then like you see how he fights. He fucking is a raged out lunatic, like ready to kill anybody. I think the Empress definitely did that.
Whatever his name is, he still lets him in the garden. Like, and like I understand it's like, oh, it's the school's garden. It's not. It's his garden. Like no one else goes in there. So like, and he still lets Alton go in. And I feel like if like he did have a falling out with him, he would not be allowed like in the garden, especially where the poppy seeds are that will help him, call the gods, things like that. But my other theory is I don't want this to be true, but I think I feel like it could be. I don't think she calls the Phoenix his whole book. I think at the end of the book, there's going to be a major death I think it's going to be Jang, whatever his name is, and it's going to end with her being like, now everybody's going to die. And like the next book, because the next book's with the dragon title, and I'm like, all right, like I could see that, like that's her like arc of like she's going to train with the Phoenix, because then the last one's called Burning God, so it's like, all right, well that also has to do with fucking fire and like a dragon, so like, you know what I mean? So I could see it not being until the end of the book, or I could see it where it's like she only calls upon the Phoenix when like someone she loves dies, but then when someone she loves dies, thousands of people die. Like I could see her being like, I think she's gonna be an anti-hero. I do. Like I truly believe that she's gonna have a major villain arc.
Dude, I could go ahead, Will.
No, go ahead, Greg. You go.
I was gonna say, I think she has to be an anti-hero, just the way she acts, the way she talks about things, especially when she was talking about with the Professor Idra in the beginning. She's very genocidal with like her chats on how she would do tactician work. Like it's very apparent she's kind of like a Batman hero almost. But I also wanted to bring up, dude, because we were talking about Altan. So there's a little tidbit. Tyr dies, right? Everyone knows shamanistic values. Even Rin feels
I'm glad
it.
you bring this up, Greg.
That he goes and talks. He goes and talks to the seer. Seer tells him what's up. I think Altan becomes the shadow, the new shadow person. I think he becomes that. Who else picks the mantle?
I'm with you. I disagree with that because like I was saying this earlier with Andy, Tyr is like talking about. Because it's like he's built up to be this great character that we're going to have. Because he's like, oh, like I never took the time to find an apprentice because like this and that and like whatnot. And then he mentions this one guy and he's like, oh, but he's like skinny and frail and like people don't really like him or whatever. Like he's not going to be great. And then he's like, well, it could be my new lieutenant, but he already has a god that's chosen for him.
Yes. And he says he's next in command. He's already lined up once I fall. But then at the end of that chapter.
So then it basically clarifies. Like,
now you're in charge.
But I see what you're saying.
Clearly summoning some other god. And I think I was going to say that it's something other than the Phoenix, but I think it could be the Phoenix still. Because that's what all the Spirgleys channeled or summoned. Like they all use that. And I think that it would make sense for the Phoenix to stay with Altan, and it makes sense to get Rin, who like clearly sees like that spear was just like sacrificed to be able to win the war, and like she sees that Rin and Altan can fucking seek the revenge that's needed like for the Spirgly people.
Here's a fun take. What if Rin's a Searly?
I was thinking about that.
I don't think that's totally out of the question.
You know, she's a war orphan. Who do we know?
Yeah,
all the people that
died. She has dark skin.
They do harp on the dark skin in the first little bit of the.
That's what I'm saying. The Phoenix is calling to her. Like it would make sense if she is also Spearly.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
And it would like make sense her natural like connection to like defend the place basically,
and her attraction levels to Altan. Like I don't know. Like I think like
they do say he's darker, like significantly darker, but it literally could have been like she could be the war orphan of a Spearly and like an invader. Like
that she doesn't have to be like full Spearly, but she could have like parts of it in her.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Andy?
I was essentially gonna say that like it doesn't. Yeah, like she's. I think it'd be out of the question for her to be like a full 100% Spearly, but like because she doesn't have all the characteristics like the red eyes, the really dark skin, but like
she also probably wouldn't have made it back because Altan's the only like known survivor, but as a child it would have been tough to escape.
Yeah, but it would make sense too. Like think about it, like she loves fire, right? Like every time like she needs to get something done, what does she turn to? Turns to fire to burn herself, to help her focus, like all that stuff. So it's like there's only one other thing that we know about Spearly people is they love fire. They used to be able to control fire through the Phoenix. So it's like, you know,
it does seem like she has like an innate connection to this Phoenix god.
Yeah,
because why out of all the gods that could come down and talk to her, why is it the Phoenix. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It does seem like there is some sort of
Well, she
deeper
kind of
connection.
is
That's how it
rising
feels
from the
like the-
ashes though, too. Like if you think about it, like do like a fun little twist. Like she clearly like has come from nothing. She's a war orphan. She lost all her family. Her adopted family hated her. Like she like was supposed to be basically married off to be a wife and like never supposed to be anything. And now all of a sudden she's rising to be one of the greatest students to come out of Singard. And like she's almost a shaman now. Like all that stuff. So it's like it kind of has that rising like from the ashes kind of vibe, which is what a phoenix is. It rises from the ashes. So it's like,
I think that's like 100% a part of it. Like the spiritually stuff, I could see like being a factor, but I think it's definitely like who she is. Like the god like sees like the insides of her, like, and knows what kind of person she's gonna be. Similar to like the dragons picking a rider. Like it gives off that vibe. In all honesty, like the way that the phoenix like calls to her.
I'm just trying to think because I'm just going back to Alton. I don't know why I'm stuck on that theory because we were saying because you guys mentioned that he already has a god that speaks for him, or he's already kind of spoken for him. What if like how the trifecta, one of them gets like the sword and becomes the warrior? Whose god was that?
Warrior.
Whose god was that though?
We just know it as the warrior.
We just know it as the warrior. I'm wondering if that's him.
I think you're like asking what god gave him the sword.
Yeah.
Right?
What god?
I could be way off, but I think it was the tiger. But I could be way off.
Okay.
I know it was snake to viperous and tortoise to gatekeeper.
I'd say I look it up, but if I look it up, it'll probably be a major spoiler.
Yeah, I don't want to look it up, and I have no idea what page it's on.
The sword god and Poppy War probably give everything away. So
Alton's the sword god.
You guys keep talking. I'll find it in the book.
Exactly what would happen.
Yeah,
right?
Alton's the sword. Damn it.
Alton's the sword god and then dies at the end of the book, and you're like, oh, thanks. Guess I'm not reading the book anymore.
Nice,
Like,
perfect. Oh, dude, but I do.
That was a fun read,
dude. I do want to chat in because remember. The Federation does start attacking the provinces, right?
Yeah.
And dude, we're getting a little bit. I don't know if this is like. I don't know if you guys were getting the same vibe. I was getting a little Rape at Nanking vibe on how like they were coming in just murdering like all They didn't murder. They didn't murder the women, but they murdered all the men and they murdered all the children.
Children and babies.
yeah, because they said they didn't have time for the women.
Yeah,
Honestly, that's a better thought. When I was reading it, I was taking it as like fucking Germans like going through Russia, like when they were first like going through.
You're gonna what?
What were you doing?
I was thinking like orgs like coming from Mordor, like when they like attacked Rohan and like
that also fits. Yeah,
that's what I was thinking when I was reading.
I
was
think
like,
Greg's right
Rings.
though.
I'm so
like now that you say that feels like
it feels
exactly
perfect, right?
what it's supposed to be, because it's like kind of crazy. Like obviously it doesn't give the warning, but like how in Five Broken Blades when May Corwin's like, this isn't like a historical fiction and it's also not complete fantasy. Like there's some like intertwining of it, but it's my own version. It definitely feels the same way. It just didn't have the warning about it because there's like clear connections in it. And I think the video we didn't record, I said Hesperia, I think is Great Britain. I forget what it was, but there was something else mentioned about it. And I was like, that's fucking Britain. Like, I don't know what that's the connection I'm making to it.
It does make sense because they talk about it later on, or I think Rin and Kitty are talking like while they're like moving that dude's pots around or something like that about saying that how do we get like Hesperion?
He just called Kate Kidia. Are we fucking kidding me? Can we get
that one's bad. That one's bad. I told you I'm looking for who gave the Dragon King.
I'm sorry,
the
Greg.
fucking
You had a great
sword.
thought, but I could not let that one slip after you guys gave me so much shit.
Honestly, Nick, I respect that out of you. That's good. That's very good.
Yeah, because but you know, what I was going off of was like they were just talking about how they can get them to like, or maybe they were having a conversation about how they could get them to like join, and then I think Kate or whatever brought up they're just like there's no way they're going to show any interest anymore. Like they're like, and it really would make sense. Like I don't think Britain would really care because like
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
During
I
World
think
War
they're
II,
done.
I don't think Europe gave a flying crap about China and what was happening for China.
That, by the way.
Rin said that. Okay, yeah, I was just thinking. I just don't think they care.
We were trying to tell her like, did anybody ever stop and ask them like what they want? And Rin was like, "Who gives a shit? They clearly don't want anything. They just want war, and it's whoever lives through
That's
the night
literally like
is the winner." Like,
yeah. Like she was basically describing World War II without like
you know what's
Europe
funny?
involved now.
I would say now that you said about like the Germans, it kind of feels like it's the Blitzkrieg, where it's like when Nazi Germany attacked
And
Poland,
like
and it's like
that's
this, and it's like
that's what I
it
was
feels
thinking,
like.
and then I forgot when like Greg mentioned it. That's really what the Japanese did to fucking China with the rape and then king. And that's just the way the Japanese fought everywhere. Like that's why they became fucking allies. Quick circle back. It was the Dragon Lord that gave the warrior the sword.
Dragon, dude, Altan better be the Dragon.
The Dragon Emperor.
We can't fucking find a book without dragons in it, dude.
I was gonna say 4 or 5 broken blades. They didn't have
that. Yeah, the dragon relics.
The dragon relics.
Yeah.
The DRs.
It's because people love dragons, dude.
I mean, it's perfect.
A book riddled with Chinese mythology, you're not going to avoid dragons.
Oh, you can't.
That's a fair point. Fair point.
Whether you want them or not, you're getting them.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's great. I think I wanted to circle back real quick about the tournament. How did you guys feel about Kate like tapping out? Because I think
it was a smart move.
So did I, but I also think like it's going to set up later. I think in this battle, he's going to be the top of the line, the best soldier. And like, I think Rin's going to be like, oh my God, like, why didn't you fight? And he's going to have some strategic answer. Like, I think it was really smart, but I think he's hiding that like he's actually like an amazing fighter. Like he just doesn't dodge.
Well,
like he's really talented.
We do know that he is a good fighter. Like he made it that far in the tournament.
Well,
like,
we know he's a good fighter because he can't get hit. Like he dodges everybody.
I think he's just not an offense type of guy, and I think that's reflected like in the little summer vacay they have. When she's like, "Why aren't you a fucking sage? Like, what are you doing? Like, you're great at this, but why the fuck are you at Singard?" And he's just like, "I'm the firstborn son. I have to be here." Sure. Like, I honestly,
Sage. I was like reading that, and I was like so confused because obviously, like in Fourth Wing and all that, the Sage is the bad guy. And I'm like, all right, get this out, this in.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that like all circled through the books we've read. I'm like, all right, don't think about that right now.
Like,
think about wise old Sage.
Red eyes. I'm like, wait a minute, that's
when
bad.
that was
like,
brought
no,
up, I was like, oh wait, what? But big circle back to what you were saying about when Rin's gonna finally summon the Phoenix. Yeah. I could see it happening like Kate's in fucking trouble because he's like not fighting or he's like cornered. I could see Rin then summoning to save him. Her and Jiang, massive blow up, massive fight. Jiang dies at the end of the book before they can fucking recover the relationship. Rin goes full on fucking terrorist mode of like avenging him, avenging the Spearleys, like just full on murder spree.
I could agree. I definitely think Jiang's dying by the end of the book, and then I think by the end of the book she's going on a murder spree.
It's gonna suck.
It is gonna suck, but if
I don't want him to, but that's like,
dude.
If everyone's like saying it's so heartbreaking, like
GA,
the two characters that would hurt the most are Kate and Jiang,
dude. GA.
Other than Rin, but
Kate, I feel like he's gonna die too, but I think he's gonna die later in the series. Like I think Rin's gonna die eventually too, but it's all gonna be later in the series.
I think Kate is gonna be later, but I'm just I think Kate is gonna get in trouble, and that's what's gonna spark the summoning, or at least that's like I don't really fucking know.
Dude, thrown out. I think we're gonna get a etiquette. I have the high ground moment, and I think Jiang is gonna kill Rin. It's my vibes here. I think that would just be so much crazier if he puts her down, like as she's like war rampaging, like I don't know, like genociding the Federation, and he just like goes over there and just puts her down. That would just be a crazy.
What if he tries and then she's so powerful with the Phoenix, dude?
That's why I think Altan. I think
killed him.
I think Altan will join in to come kill her as well. I think like she'll be put down. I'm still standing. I think she's dying.
Because if he truly is the gatekeeper and he got his power from the tortoise and he's humble and stuff like that, he's not going to fight her. But I think she kills him. I could see that happening.
I think
he's strict defense. That's it.
Yeah, but I think like if she is going crazy, he would step in.
Yeah,
but I don't think it would be to kill her.
So yeah, it would be to like fucking forehead tap, freeze, God gone.
Well, he didn't save his other peoples. He let them go mad, and he had to kill the other one. So it's like
fucking let them. That shit just happened. That's why it changed.
Well, I'm just saying, but he also killed the other one because they had to get down.
That's why he's so strict.
Well, we do that something happened to that character.
You don't know that he killed the character.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, we know that character was killed because he had to be put down. I'm just, dude, Jiang's a G.
Having to be put down and then Jiang killing him is a fucking like.
Jiang's a G. Dude,
we're taking a big jump, dude.
No jumps. We're hopscotching right now.
I'm telling you, dude, he speaks in absolutes, and they're not actually absolutes.
These are absolutes. No, dude, I'm gonna go out on a limb. Ren's a bad character. I think we're following an enemy or following like the upbringing. We're getting an Anakin. I'm feeling very Anakin right now.
Dude, Anakin,
I'm feeling
Riddle. 100% going to be bad.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's what I'm saying. I'm feeling Anakin vibes.
But I'm getting like big time redemption arc type things. Like I think she's gonna go crazy, but she is like in the end gonna wind up being like this crazy savior or something. You know,
I don't really think. Like, I don't think she dies.
That's what I think.
Like she could, but she could. I'm not ruling it out, but I don't think she dies. And I think like she will be the one that like saves everybody in the Poppy War.
Dude, Anakin vibes.
Yeah, I think that's what it's setting up. But I think there's gonna be like she might save Nakara. Is it Nakara or Nakan? I don't know.
Nakan and then
Nakara or the
Nakara.
People. Yeah.
Okay. So I do think she winds up saving like Nakan, but at the expense of a lot of people. Like I think she just kills anybody and anything to win the war. Because that's how it's kind of set up. Like in her strategy class, it was always the grander win over any individuals. You know what I mean? So I think it's going to wind up being like she's going to win the war for Nakan, but at the expense of a lot of Nakara people.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I think it's going to be like at the expense of all those people in order to like at the end of the war, Nakan like resets to like not being 12 separate warlords, like trying to get back to like what the Red Emperor was.
Dude,
just because if like
go ahead, we'll finish. Sorry.
Like, do you guys think the Federation's gonna win?
No.
So I think the Khan, whatever it is, I think they're actually the villains. And I think what's going to happen is she's going to realize, like, that could be what happens at the end of the book. Like, she realizes that, like, she's on the wrong side and that, like, the Spear Leagues were, like, fighting on the side of Federation. Like, it's going to be this whole history thing.
I don't know if it's set up like that.
I just feel like, because there's no way that, like, because, like Will was saying, like, all the 12 warlord things, I don't think the series is going to end with all that. I think it's going to be all under one banner. But I think, I really do think she's going to realize that, like, the people she's fighting war are bad.
I think the way it's set up right now is Nakan wasn't the one invading anybody else out of, like, conquest or anything. It was the Federation coming and invading them. So I think just out of that, Nakan can't necessarily be like the bad guys, you know what I mean? Like the villains of the story. Because at this point, they're just defending themselves from the Federation. I do think that it'll be a big plot point that they're just piss poor managed. Like the system they have is just god awful. And
they're not the bad guys, but they're certainly not not good people.
Great, they're not great people. I think that one is
shown that with the warlords in the one scene when
like the last chapter we read when Rin and Kate were moving out the bureaucrat.
Yeah.
Well, that, and you also see it when the horse kid
Han gives
he's like yelling at
shit,
whatever his name is, whatever his name is, and then he's like, it's easy for you. Your dad's fucking a coward. And then like they're fighting, but then like he goes back to fight for his dad. And then what do we learn about the Horse
Yeah.
Kingdom? Like they fall. And it's like, well, they fall
Yeah.
because there's no one else trying to help them fight.
Yeah, no
So it's like now we're
reinforcement.
at Singard and there's no one else there to help them fight. You know, it's like I thought that teapot thing that you were bringing up, Andy, I loved it. dude.
Hilarious.
I thought it was
great.
Loved it. When Katay's like, fuck this, and just chucks it,
Yeah.
dude. I love that part
I
because
think-
that
I
sounds
think-
like thank you.
Yeah, she couldn't have got that sentiment across any better. Like just
Yeah.
the fact that these warlords and bureaucrats are just know nothings, idiots, worried about the wrong things at all times, just worried about themselves, worried about their fucking teapots in a time of war.
Yep.
I thought,
Yeah, that's like they're not the bad guys, but they're fucking morons and like
Yeah.
not good.
well, yeah, that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. Is like I don't think
enough.
Nakan will be like villains per se, but they
Yeah.
are obviously just really,
Terrible
really
people.
bad. Yeah,
It's like Nakan needs to be reset.
Yeah. What I loved about the teapot scene, just to circle back to it, I thought the way she wrote, like, because they always say that, like, when you're true friends, it's like the words that are unspoken, but both of you know what the fuck is going on. When I don't know how she wrote that so fucking perfectly that, like, I was reading it and was like, if this was me and my friends, this would be the same reaction we would have. And it's that silent connection of, like, is this motherfucker for real right now? Like, he really saying about these fucking teapots? I thought that was so sick. And I love the silence. Like, and you're like sitting there, like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? I don't know. I just want to give a shout out to the author because I thought that was unreal,
the
dude.
fact
I thought you go ahead, Andy.
the fact that the teapots didn't break at first and then Katay just takes a log and starts smashing them made me
Great scene.
laugh.
Great scene.
Because
It
it
was a
was so satisfying reading her like write that he threw the fucking box of teapots. It didn't make a noise that satisfied either of us.
No.
I was like, that's fucking great, dude. Like, go smash those fucking things.
Just get after it, Katay.
No, I thought it was great. Greg, you quiet up there. What's going on?
Dude,
You got any thoughts?
I'm enjoying the conversation. I wanted to make sure someone mentioned that he took the pots out and physically beat them. That was a top tier scene. But no, I honestly am quietly just thinking to myself, like thinking of the Star Wars plotline with Anakin. And I don't know what it is. I'm just getting, the more I think about it, the more I'm drawing connections between Anakin and Rin. Anakin wanted more power, and Obi-Wan Kenobi told him he couldn't. And here we are, Rin craving more power. Here we have Jang telling her she can't have it. And then just like, I don't see any Sith vibes. I'm not saying the Federation feels like this. Yeah, the Federation.
Here,
Yeah, go ahead.
that they both want power to save the ones they love.
Well, Rin, I don't know. Who is she trying to save?
I think she's trying to save like her people. I think she's so like
Shouldn't have people.
wrapped up in it. But then but it's like the care or whatever. But I also feel like it's more about like she wants to like she loves herself, and it's almost like she wants to, I don't know, I guess, she wants to prove to herself that she can do it. Just like Anakin wanted to prove that he was supposed to be a master. You know what I mean? Which like he should have been, but like that's sidebar.
I
Mhm.
thought
I think it kind of showed that he shouldn't have been.
her
You gotta watch Clone Wars, then you know that he should have been. Okay,
her-
well,
I've seen it.
well, God, you know I'm the Star Wars guy. You know this well.
I feel like Revenge of the Sith shows that he should not have been a master. I'm an Anakin guy, but like if we're being honest,
He only turns because when this is why. Because he
you turn 2 if you lost Padme. Come on now.
I would, but hold on, let me finish. He turns because he does the right thing. He marches his little ass into
Killed
Master
those
Yoda's
fucking
office,
kids. That's right.
And,
Nick.
well, he did do that too.
I'm waiting for that scene to happen.
Anyway,
Wait,
he walks in to Master Yoda's office and he says to Yoda, I'm having these horrible dreams, these horrible visions of like Padme dying. And what does Yoda say? Nothing. Trust in the Force. Everything will be fine. Gives him no guidance at all. So then he hangs out with Emperor Palpatine. And what is Chancellor knows it? All we have to do is just tell this kid, I have the answers. Come to daddy. Daddy's got the answers. Dark plagueth the wise. You ever hear the story? Because then he tells them, and then Anakin's like, well, great, this is fucking awesome. And my favorite part of all of Star Wars, the best part ever, because, I love Disney, but like we have to give fucking healing, is the fact that like, if Anakin just learned how to fucking force heal, if he had that ability, he would have never turned. Just saying.
Will, you're gonna take that?
You're gonna take that?
You're gonna take
I
that?
really
Will?
wanted to go on a Star Wars tangent, so I was going to
talk about Star Wars.
Who knows? My knowledge of Star Wars is pretty elite, boys. I'm a nerd.
It is, but
My
that
lightsaber's in my
doesn't
pocket
prove
right now.
that Anakin should have been a master. People that are masters don't murder all of the younglings. It feels like Yoda and Mace Windu made the right choice by not making him a master.
He only fell because they didn't make him master.
That's a cancer to the locker room, dude. You don't want that in your locker room.
That is true. That's someone spraying axe for fun.
Dude, we didn't need those kids. These kids deserve to die.
Oh,
And I'm moving on.
Hey, Nick is becoming Rin on the genocidal thoughts.
this has taken an interesting turn.
Plot twist: Rin murders all the babies in the con.
Oh, dude, Ren just wants to kill
She might go over
everybody.
the Federation. She might be a psychopath.
It seems like the Federation's taking care of that.
Yeah.
Federation
I
is
thought
already.
that line was so crazy when they're like, the only reason why they don't kill the women is because like
They don't
want
have
to
time.
Well, no, it's not that they didn't have time. It says that they wanted to use the women, and then the women like trailed with them, and then like when they didn't want them anymore, they kind of just like kicked them to the curb because they didn't have time for them. And I thought that's like that whole thing was crazy. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no. I think I love the way she writes things. She keeps it real. She keeps it brutal. She's not like trying to hide or sugarcoat things.
And I love the line of they don't need supply lines because they're just taking everything from each village they ransack. I'm like,
It's really
that's
just
fucking
scorched
bold.
earth in reverse.
Yeah. I thought that was crazy. I was like, fuck, dude.
Dude, that's why that's why it just feels so Rape and King. It's exactly what happened. They just rolled through and just killed, raped everybody, murdered everyone, children, everybody, and
It's
then
very
just
like
burnt
reading
everything.
a fucking World War II history book in fantasy instead.
Yeah.
And it's fucking sick. Like, it's so well done.
With Anakin.
And Milan.
Little Anakin vibes.
And Beauty and the Beast and Cinderella.
Yeah. But dude, I'm going on it.
Like, this is literally the story of Milan, dude. Like the fucking the whatever they're called, the fucking bad guys come marching and they're like,
The
and they
Huns.
sing this song.
Let's get down to business. To the feet.
And they start marching and they sing the song about the fucking who's worth fighting for. They want a girl worth fighting for. Then they see the whole Chinese army's dead from the Huns, and then they got to fight the Huns. It's the same fucking story, dude. I'm just saying.
Dude.
China, tough history.
Tough history.
The Huns and the Japanese, dude. Tough one.
Tough one.
I like Japan better anyway, but it's fine.
Whoa.
Oh.
We're getting Japan vibes more.
Japan?
Oh.
I don't know if we should have this conversation.
We're gonna get into that here.
Like, are we just like forgiving Japan
Japanese my
for
favorite
fucking
cuisine,
Pearl
bro. I love
Harbor?
Japanese. What'd you say?
We're just forgiving the Japanese for Pearl Harbor now? Like,
Yeah, you're right. December 7th, you're right. True.
You know
just
what?
saying, that's a big one. That's a big one to say that they're your favorite.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
And if we're being real,
Japan
just for a
had
second,
samurais,
They
which is
have
fucking
sunrise.
badass.
China has better drinks in Epcot. That's facts.
That's facts too. But Japan has better cuisine. And the gift shop in Japan in Epcot is the best gift shop in the whole fucking park.
I just want to say
Stop in.
that judging your how much you like a country based on the drinks in Epcot and how much you like sushi is ridiculous.
It's
Also,
really
in my
ridiculous.
defense, Japan is very art culture friendly. I'm a photographer, so I do appreciate their graphic design and their
You
innovation.
should have
in the
led
art
with
world.
that.
There is a great
with that,
leading
dude.
argument. Not
Yeah.
Epcot
Your
drinks and
answer? Yeah.
sushi.
All right, boys.
All
it's
right.
time to wrap it up.
Anything else? I feel like we covered a lot before we get off the deep end here too far.
Yeah.
But we're one chapter into part 2. Are we gonna try and have part 2 finished for the next book meeting.
Well, before we say that, I
Or-
have one last thing I want to say is, what do we think is going to happen to Singard? My
Well,
opinion-
Singard's empty now. Yeah,
well, I'm saying like the battle. I think the school's getting demolished,
I think they're gonna have to retreat.
right?
I don't-
then
It's setting up.
Or
Like, they
even
already
if
have
they
like a safe
fight them
house type
out, like-
thing. Like
then
they have
let's
like
do
that
that.
safe side in the mountain.
what
Yeah.
professors die? Because right now RFK is telling us that all
Yim's
the
a
professors are
bitch.
going down with.
Yim's a
But-
bitch. Jima's going down with the ship.
Well, they all said they're going down with the ship, so I don't
Yeah.
think I don't
Jima's
think
for
Yim's
sure going
with
down with the ship.
Jim is going to. I don't think Yoon is. I think he's a coward. I think he's going to run.
I think that he just won't
I don't.
get. Oh wait, hang on. Are you thinking of the combat master or the history master?
The combat one.
Yeah, I'm saying. Me and Andy were saying that Yim's gonna die. The
Yim's
history
gotta die.
master.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
The other one's
I don't
June,
think
right?
Jun.
he's combat. Yeah.
I
Jun,
think
June,
he's
Yoon,
coward, he's
however,
running.
whatever the proper pronunciation is. Apologies. I see him run. Like, I don't think he's gonna die here. I think he's gonna
run.
have like a big time bitch death like later on.
Agreed. Yeah.
I could also see him coming and defending Rin at some point. Kind of.
I could see that
twisting
redemption,
that.
Loki.
Like
I don't see
a
that.
little bit of redemption for him, and then maybe dying there. Like
I see
helping
Rin
her.
saving him, and then that's
I
Well,
could
that's-
see that.
I could
that is
see
also a
Rin
good
saving
point.
him and then him dying to save her.
I could see that. He's going to save him
Yeah.
first. He's going to apologize. I think
He doesn't extend the
Yeah.
olive branch. She would be
Agreed.
the one to do that.
All
Greg's got a
right.
hot take. Look at him.
Listen up here. I'm gonna drop.
by his reaction.
I'm gonna draw some
End
facts.
us off with something good, Greg.
As viewers, listen up. You can see Andy, Nick, Will concerned with nothing but mere mortals. Rin, Kite, Chiang. They're trying to figure out who's gonna live, who's gonna die.
You just named 2 shamans, not mere mortals. just
They're
to be
mere
clear.
mortals. They're vessels.
Basically,
Now,
God.
let's remember who is the importance here. The gods. We only know of one country's gods. I am waiting to figure out who are the Federation gods, because the gods are not at war with themselves. They're at war with them. So I want to know why these gods are coming together, because we do know gods are on different lands, because the Spiritualities had a god, the Phoenix. I want to know who the Federation gods are. I want to know why the Viperess is doing weird stuff. I want to know what's going on, because the gods got involved to make the trifecta to fight the Federation in the first place. What are the gods doing? What are the other gods? I want to know.
Do you think it's more
I
of like
think-
there's separate pantheons, like there's Greek, like in like world?
Yeah,
mythology,
I
there's
think
Greek
it's like
gods,
that.
Roman gods, Celtic gods.
There's got to
Do
be
you think
something
it's
going
like
on.
that, where each land has their own gods and they
I
kind
think
of
it
have
is.
control over their land. That's what you're
I
thinking.
think it is because in the conversation with Jiang, when he's like giving her assignments, because like finding out the religions was one of the assignments. And I remembered why I thought the Hesperia is Britain, because she finds out that Hesperia basically has like one divine god that like they
Yes,
use
right.
to control all of the states, because the states aren't separate. They're all a part of one. And I was like, you're literally just describing England. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so that's
You're
like what's going on
Describing
there.
Christianity, yeah, and Catholic. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's literally what you're
Um,
describing.
I think I could be wrong. They might have mentioned something about the Federation. I think it's like something in between Nakan's situation and Hesperia's.
Okay.
Like, I don't think they have as many and like everything as Nakan, but it's like more than one of Hesperia just having like God, not gods.
To me, I read it not as like the gods were like separate, like the different pantheons. I read it like there was just gods out there and different countries worshipped different like pieces.
Oh, I
of
see what you're
the
saying.
same
Yeah, that
overall.
could be.
I thought
Yeah,
the same thing. Like
Yeah,
there's
like
the collection,
yeah,
and it's the
then
same for everybody,
yeah,
but then
different
different
countries.
places
Yeah.
focus on. Yeah,
and like they
because
draw
he makes
it's
power.
like a
clear-
free for all. You
certain
can
gods,
pick whatever.
Yeah, 'cause he makes
That's
it clear,
how
like,
I read it.
Yeah, because he makes it clear like Nikan's the tiger, the monkey, the tortoise, and I forget what the other one was.
Snake, I think, or viper.
Snake, I think it was yeah. And like, but like, if you like open the book, which I think mine's here, there was other ones I thought on the map.
Well,
like,
they said that that's like the 4 main, but like then went on to a shit ton other ones.
yeah, but see, like, so for example, though,
Oh,
if
I
we
think the
look,
Phoenix is one of the main ones, by the way.
there's
Phoenix,
the dragon, the tiger, the horse, the dog, the monkey, the ox, the boar, the hare, and that's
Yeah.
all just in the con, whatever this place is.
Dude, I think I just figured
that's all the
out.
provinces, yeah.
Look at that tiny little island of Spear.
Yeah. Dude, you know what? I think
Taiwan.
I think I just figured out why they killed Tyr so early on, and why he randomly started mentioning he wanted an apprentice and all that stuff, and why it felt like he died randomly. I almost think he probably was going to make Altan the apprentice, and the Viperist didn't want him to be the apprentice of that. So they killed off the Shadow Lord or Shadow Dude, MacGyver, and killed him off.
The weird thing we didn't even touch on was the Seek.
The Seer?
The Psych?
Oh, the Sykes.
The guy.
C-I-K-E.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, the Psych people.
the like Empress's
That-
assassins.
Yeah,
What?
like that is like I'm not
He was a Psych
100%
though.
sure about. Yeah, like he was a Psych. Tyr was a Psych, and then
That's where
now
Alton
that
is.
Tyr is dead, Alton became the leader of the Psych,
Mm-hmm.
and
Crazy.
I'm still yet to understand exactly what the Psych are. I don't know if it's like a special unit under the Empress.
Yeah.
of, like,
It is, yeah.
warriors.
They're assassins. They're assassins.
If now that Greg, you saying that, I think if based off what you were saying, the logic would point towards then that the Empress would want Alton in charge.
Well, the reason I say that is because I
Because
don't.
if they're her assassins, she would then, like, she knows killing Tyr would put Alton in charge.
Well, the only reason I bring it up is because I don't think the Empress is thinking from like the Empress's mind. I think the Empress is thinking through the Viperess, and I think the gods are vying for people's beliefs almost. So the more people that believe in you or worship you, the more of a powerful god you become. So that's why I think these countries even go to war in the first place, is because there's probably a god over there that has majority of the Federation that has power, and then the Nakar has like a god that is also being. So it's like, how do we get more people to like join worship me kind of thing? Because it feels like the gods are playing. That's why I tossed that idea out there, and that's also. But I do understand what you're saying, Will. Where there is another ulterior motive. Why do you not want Altan being the guy? But then also, I guess that makes sense because Tyr was old. He was like 50 something, and he was about to go mad anyway in a couple of years, or at least he said he was going to go mad in a couple of decades or whatever. So who knows?
Yeah, he was like, I'd hope that I've had more time, like my master who like died at whatever age, but he was like, it feels like I'm closer to death than he was at my age or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because I was a little confused when I read that scene, right? Was he on, like, I'm trying to think how to word this, because we know there's the Federations in the water, right? And
the
then,
Ryobi?
Yeah. Was
Ryobes.
he on
He was
the
on a
Federation ship?
Yes, he was on a Federation ship. Yes.
He's hiding in the darkness.
He was in the
Yes.
shadows
Yeah.
on the Federation ship,
Yes.
and the other boat, the second boat, was the one that the Empress arrived on.
The slow.
Yeah, and that's why he
wanna
was
know,
confused
though-
as fuck when the Empress arrived.
Yes, because I was so confused. That's why he was confused. But what I want to know
Yeah.
is I guess the thing I'm dying to know right now is like, why'd she kill him? And like, this kind of like why I think maybe like the Kahar people are bad, because it's like, is she like a double agent kind of thing? Like, you know,
Well, that's what the
like,
Tyr says. He's like, he says like Tyr's dead, like you're in charge, and like war's coming, and then like
someone
we
we
have
trusted.
we have like a friend that's an enemy.
Yeah.
That makes me think. That's makes me think that the Vipress was probably the worship god in the Federation, and then somehow she was able to get into the mind of the Empress, and now the Empress is playing like let's start getting rid of people.
Then we're to like Fourth Wing, how we're like speculate that the dragons are like there's way more, and like they have a plan that's way different than what the humans want. The gods definitely have like their own version of how they want things to go, and like you were saying, Greg, just use like the people as vessels. And like I basically think it's like they let them think that they're like running the show, but in reality it's just like the gods like playing a puppet show. Like whoever like speaks to them or like summons them, it's they know exactly who they're going to go into and know exactly what they're going to do like when they're there.
I almost
Greg, I love theory, by the way.
Yeah,
because I feel like it would make sense then, like if that maybe that's why the Federation keeps attacking, because they want their god back,
dude.
Like, you know what I mean? Like that could be it.
You know, because they bring up like the Red Emperor was a god himself. I'm curious, and he pretty much like destroyed religion through the lands, like made it go back to folklore, made people not be able to practice it or like whatever. I'm kind of curious if like that's where these gods are constantly trying to attack the car. It's just because there's just like these figures that come and want to be gods themselves and then cast out all the other gods, and then it's kind of like a revitalization of the gods. I don't know. There's something more at play with the gods. I think the book is about the gods, not about the characters, and I think that's my own thought. I think it's going to start dwindling into what are the gods doing. Because that's what I think. Fourth Wing in the Imperium series, it's just whatever the Imperium dragons are talking about.
Yeah,
like, that's what I think's gonna happen. But I gotta pee bad.
All right, we can wrap it up. I think Andy, Will, Greg, you guys have anything else?
No, good episode, boys.
I think so.
Who has the book in front of him? How many pages is it till chapter
It's
or
a
chapter?
chunk. I think it was like 160. No, more than that. Yeah, I'm trying to think. All right, so part 2 ends on 405. I'm currently staring at 237.
All right, remember he has the separate
So-
copy. I have mine.
because
I'm
we're on
But it-
250.
We're on 251.
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll be what, about 160 pages, which that's not crazy.
Well, so the question is, are we meeting?
We might have to
Sunday?
do Tuesday for that.
If we're gonna do that, I think we got to meet Tuesday.
Tuesdays
Monday's
are best for
Sunday-
me. Sunday is
let's-
Mother's Day.
Sunday's Mother's Day, so I'll make this Tuesday work. Especially because I want Andy in the video, even though he barely talks.
Oh,
So
That's
Andy,
fine.
maybe next video you talk a little more.
I was
since
having a
sometimes-
good chat today.
Yeah, you actually did really good today. I'm very proud of you, Andy. I just want
Part
to let
2
you know.
ends on
The first go
4:36.
around, I was just feeling it out, seeing what was
No,
going
it's
on.
okay. It was a practice round. That video's not even going out. Never
I
see the light of
know.
day. So
4:30.
Now we're having
436. Yeah, well,
So 253.
fuck this. Just do it. We're gonna read to part
Like
3.
180.
yeah.
yeah.
Once
Because then you know
160
what?
pages in a week, we got that no problem.
Yeah, and you know what? I like it better anyway because we get a part 1 video, a part 2 video, and a part 3 video. Then those are our 3 videos for Poppy War, which I know Greg, Will, and I have been talking that we kind of want to keep it to a 3 video for the book because they get a little repetitive. And I think if I'm being honest, like when I watch YouTube videos, I just want to know the results. Like, you know, like give me your fucking thoughts. I don't need, play by play of each chapter. I've said this in the video, past video, but if you want that, go listen to a different podcast. The Fantasy Girls does a great job, especially if you like Fourth Wing. They do a great job. But
Nobody doesn't like us. Short of that.
Yeah, just promoting the competition.
Nobody doesn't like us. No one doesn't like that.
you know how many people actually, you know what's funny? I get a lot of people that would like to text me, and they're always like, "Your cousin Greg is funny," and I'm like, "No, he's a fucking idiot." But I'm glad you think he's funny. Like,
Dude, I got a
Now you're
little
gonna get
fan
text
base.
about
Yeah.
I'm gonna
your
guess
friend Andy being cute.
What I
Yeah,
will
there
say
you
is
go.
that
Andy has himself up.
Andy with the flex.
Eddie with a massive flex.
Come on, baby.
below. Let us know in the comments below if Andy makes it back another week. Let us know how we feel about Andy.
Yeah, Andy's gonna be back no matter what. Come on, man.
Andy's gonna be back no matter what.
It
This
is
is true, but
no problem.
listen, if the viewership drops like crazy, Andy's fucking
Yeah, I
fine,
guess
dude.
that
That's
makes
gonna be
sense.
tough.
No more Andy, bro. Because it's
If
not.
it
It's not the
shoots
three
up,
of
that
us.
means
It's his
he's got to
fault,
do
dude.
the. If it shoots up, that means he has to do the intro now.
That's
Oh,
true.
true.
Yeah.
And also,
If that's what the stakes
fucking
are. If
terrible.
it's kicked out, there's got to be a positive.
also,
This is true.
shout out Uncle Andrew. He sent me a text. He sent me a text today saying he watched one of our videos.
No way.
Yeah, I have no idea how he saw it. Oh yeah,
Today,
it is his
Uncle Andrew's
birthday. Happy birthday,
Shout
Uncle
out
Andrew.
Uncle Andrew.
Yeah,
That's hilarious that he fucking watched one of our videos, dude. Let's go.
dude, he was talking to my mom, and he was just like, "I saw Greg online," and I was like, "What? How did you see it?" And he's like, and then I texted him, "Happy birthday," and he's like, "Oh, dude, I saw cool book club stuff," and I'm like, "Did you watch the vid?" He's like, "Yeah, I saw you on my TV." I was like,
Dude, I
"Oh,
got
there you go."
Oh, dude,
Oh,
I got the same text.
you got the same text?
I wished him happy birthday today. He said, "Watched a little of your book club videos. You, Greg, and Will looked great. Love ya."
Yeah, there you
Let's
go.
go. Little
There you
back
go.
history. I think we've said it in the first video, but Greg, Will, and I are cousins. Andy's just a friend. Soon to be family. He's family in Will's eyes, so it's cool. He's book club family.
Yeah, I was gonna
all
say
that
that's a
matters.
brother.
Yeah,
Friend
he's
is
book club
friend's
family.
rough.
Yeah. Book club family. That's all that matters. But yeah, so if you want to be featured in the book club, maybe we'll have you on the next book series. You never know. Andy just happened to randomly text Will and was like, "Hey, I'm reading it too. Would love to come on." We're open. You know, it's Times New Roman. We love our soldiers, so it's fine. But that's it for this week's episode. Read up until part 3. Do not go further, even though it's going to suck because the book's getting so good. But yeah, that's another episode of Times New Roman. Wow, I messed that up. This is another episode of Times New Roman Soldiers. It is now time for us to put the books down, go to bed, and for Greg to use the bathroom. See you guys next time. Love ya.
Bye.